also, all of these albums that we've put out, they're on my label, and I just license them to Sony BMG.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, and so we own our whole catalog. So nobody tells us how to do stuff.
Intellectual property or IP is the lifeblood of your work as a creator. Now, you can't have IP around your idea, but you can have IP around the execution of your particular idea. For instance, you can have a melody in your head. That's not intellectual property. But once you commit it to music or write it down into some sheet music, then it becomes intellectual property. And if you don't own your own IP, then you don't control how it's actually being distributed, or what money, if anything, you get from it. You might not even control if you get credit for the intellectual property once it's out into the world. Intellectual property is power.
It's Debbie Deb when I hear music.
Yep.
She was 17 years old. She was a record store employee in Miami when Pretty Tony Butler came into the record store, producer Pretty Tony Butler, and had her sing on a couple tracks he was working on. It's one of those classic examples, unfortunately, of the thing you're hearing in the sample, the person's voice you're hearing got nothing from it. She got work for hire. She got paid on the day. But in spite of that song being sampled so prominently on this huge, important song, she
doesn't get publishing.
Did you ever hear anything from her team or any other teams that sampled any of your songs?
No, they don't reach out. They don't. No, they do not. Not to me anyway. No, they don't.
Who would they reach out to then, if that's the case?
Probably the people who own the rights to the music.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's they'd have to reach out to them. Because like I said, I didn't get the right music. So they got to reach out to somebody, and it's not me. So
Here are 3 ways you can protect it. The first one is to actually do it yourself, DIY it. That means write the book. That means commit to recording the music in your closet. Get the thing done. Now, this requires extra investment as far as time, energy, resources, even money into getting it to yourself. But that means you can control where the product is out, how the service is being used, and ultimately be able to control your destiny in a way that other people cannot. Just be wary of companies that want to partner with you, because if you end up signing the wrong distribution contract, you could actually lose control of your intellectual property. Second, you can negotiate your intellectual property back. Let's say you end up signing a deal with a major company and they decide to go independent. That's not the end of the world. You can actually negotiate to get that IP back. You can do some sweet talking and good negotiation. You could pay them to get your intellectual property back. In fact, there's ways that you can do this that make it a lot easier for you to maneuver, because you have the resources initially of this big company and now you're going independent. The best time to do this, I found, is when companies are going in a different direction. For instance, if it's a music group that has your particular type of music for a little while when they signed you, and then suddenly they're going in a different direction. You don't fit in their catalog anymore. Or in cases where the company itself is going bankrupt or going through a major shift as far as leadership. I've negotiated my stuff back. It's worked out well for all parties, and I was able to get control of my intellectual property. This is what musicians talk about when they talk about getting their masters back from the music publishers.
All I know is that I cannot get a record contract. We cannot get a record contract unless I take these tapes. And granted, the tapes themselves are your that you own them, okay? But the magic that is on the tapes, that fucking heart and soul that we put into those tapes, that is ours, and you don't own that. Now I need to take that magic and get it to the record company.
Third, you can license your intellectual property. You work with a major company who likes whatever you're bringing to the table. You end up working together for a limited amount of time, and you end up splitting whatever proceeds there are from that distribution that you got from that company. Now notice I said the limited amount of time, so there are guide rails to this. The best distribution deals or partnership deals have a certain type of time limit or a certain amount of units or products sold, and then the IP reverts back to you. I've been able to make really good money from folks using my book content in a limited way. We split down the profits and we're both happy with it, and I'm able to keep my intellectual property. But none of these intellectual property ideas make any difference if you don't know how to read a contract and to watch out for the red flags. Here are some red flags to avoid in your next